Hey guys, the Late Start here, and in my last video, some people, not my last video, my video is about drops and why you should expect a drop before the drop rate. Um, for example, drop that's 1 in 128 you should expect after 89 kills. Some people said, you could make more stuff like that because it's pretty interesting, and I had some really good feedback, even though the like to dislike ratio is about well, it's 2 to 1. I think it was 20 to 11 last time I checked, I think. So, yeah, I decided to make quite a cool video. Basically, I was gearing up for my Slayer task, and then my friend's like, hey, wait. So, what's the chance of landing on heads if you flip a coin 7 times in a row? So I'm like, well, it's 1 in 128. It's 1 divided by 2 to the 7. And he's like, oh, so wait, that means if I go staking, I only have a 1 in 128 chance to lose 7 times in a row? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh wow, then I could make bank if I double up. And then I was like, yeah, I guess. But seems a little too good to be true, So I went in a notepad, and I'll get this out of the way for now. But I did some very easy math. Basically, if you're like in elementary school, you can understand this. It's very, very simple. I mean, but you know, some people talk like jokingly, but still about smart staking, and there's no such thing as smart staking. And I'm gonna prove it to you right now. Except doubling up gives you a really good chance of making money. Because it should take you should make 88 mil before then losing all your money, and then you'd have to go back, and then you'd make another like whatever amount, and whatever I'll show you right now. It's not There's no such thing as smart staking. If you want to keep one method, you can't control your gains. So let's start with the easiest method, basically, which is 1x. Whatever you do, next stake will be the same amount. So it's 1m as an example, obviously it doesn't matter. So 50% chance to lose 1 mil, 50% chance to make 1 mil. The final outcome is 0 after an infinite amount of rolls. That means basically just having the same amount of wins for both, since they're both 50%. So you have the same amount of wins as you have as lost stakes, but since they're the same amount, you don't gain anything and you don't lose anything. Now keep in mind that most people that go staking end up being cleaned, because if you're up 500 mil, what are the possible outcomes if you keep staking? I mean, yeah, sure, you can make 10 bill, but what is most likely going to happen? You're gonna lose all your money, because when you're up, you can always go down, but when you're down, it's really hard to go back up, because let's say you get to zero, then you'd have to make cash in another way than staking, really. Now let's take a look at the 2xing. So basically, every time you lose, you double up what you just did, so that you end up with a 1 mil profit. Let's say you go with 1 mil, you lose 1 and then you win 2 mil, well then you'd make 1 mil. If you lose 1 and then you lose 2, then you lose 4, but then you win 8, then you end up with 1 mil profit, because it's this minus this gives this. Very easy to understand again. And yeah, basically the total outcome, if you have 128 rolls, this is 7 stakes. Basically, the chance of losing 7 in a row is 1 in 128. So it's 1 in 128 times how much do you lose when you lose 7 in a row? It's 127. Let's do negative. Oh my god, I'm stupid, that didn't work. I did times minus 1. Oh, it's because I had to put parentheses or whatever. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. 1 divided by 128 times minus 127. So that's what you lose every 1 in 128 stakes, and then plus 127 divided by 128 times 1 mil, because 127 times out of the 128 you're gonna win 1 mil. And you realize these are the same amount, and you end up with a final outcome of 0. So what happened here? If you stake 128 million times, you should expect to lose 1 million time and win 127 million time. So that would give you 127 times 1 mil, but then 1 million times minus 127 mil, which just adds up to 0. And now if we take a look at 3x, which is you make what you lost plus 1 mil upon winning. Yeah, that's just you could say I'm gonna outsmart the game, and I'm gonna do 3x, so that let's say I'm down 13 mil right here, okay? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna stake 27 mil since my last one was 9 mil, and then if I win, I'm gonna have made 14 mil, which is way better than making 1 mil, right? Not really, because you lose your money at a way bigger rate. As you can see here, it's like 2 to the x minus 1, and here it's oh, I bet I could figure it out, but it's not really important for the video, so it just goes up a lot faster. Basically, is that the fifth one? Yeah, that's the fifth one. I could get this one back here, but I used 5 stakes to just show it very easily what happens. These are the possible outcomes for these 5 stakes. So one of the outcomes is obviously losing getting minus 121 mil. And then if you win the fifth one, then the outcome is winning 41 mil right here. If you win the fourth one, there's a lose here, but actually that lose doesn't matter because with this method, what you do is once you win, you start back at 1 mil. But I just wrote the 5 results to make this less confusing so that they're all like five rolls because I could just remove this and say after the win I'm going back, but I'm just gonna write it for the sake of the video and your understanding. So if we go and add all this up, so you get 2 times 14 mil, I forgot the 41, so plus 41, so 41 plus 2 times 14, 69, so yeah, I didn't mean to do that, but whatever, I'll take it, 89, and then plus 8 times 2, and then plus 16 times 1, which is obviously 16, that gives you 121 mil. So for all these stakes you make 121 mil, but for this one you lose 121 mil. So what just happened? You lost your time. You just went staking, and the final average outcome over an infinite amount of rolls, once again, is 0. So, you know what? This place isn't for me. I don't really want to waste my time staking. I'd rather do Slayer, because I've just proven to you that what's gonna happen is either, well, I mean, you could make bank, or you could, well, lose your bank, but there's no real way to control what's gonna happen, so I don't really think it's worth staking. Yes, a lot of people make a shit ton of money, but then you see those people who break their computers and all because they just lost an LE stake, and I'd rather just skill, get my diary cape, and yeah, maybe comp one day if it comes out, but nah, I don't know. Yeah, why is this outro so strange? Yeah, I guess I'm sorry. I suck at making outros. Was there even an intro? Yeah, there was an intro to this video because I'm too good to forget that. So yeah, I'm out. Peace.